Hi everybody, Joel Kennedy with Kennedy Violins. So today we're talking about the 4 most important violin maintenance habits that will help you enjoy your violin a lot more and help you maintain your sanity. Okay, so these 4 important habits are things that I see people forgetting or they don't know about, and it really has a dramatic impact on their happiness and their success on the violin. So let's go over those top 4, and they're in no particular order, although the 4th one may be the most important. Okay, so number 1 on the list would be maintaining the bridge on your instrument. And if you don't maintain your bridge, hey, don't feel bad, because I've seen plenty of professional players who don't pay any attention to their bridge either. Okay, so what happens is the strings stretch, right? All strings stretch. Whether they're steel core or synthetic or whatever, they all stretch. So what happens when they're stretching and then it goes out of tune? So what do? You tune your violin, you turn the pegs, or you tune the fine tuners. And what that does is it pulls the strings this way. And what that does is that pulls the top of your bridge forward. Okay, this is not good for a variety of reasons. Number 1, it's bad for your sound because the bridge isn't, if the bridge doesn't have a structural integrity, it's not going to transfer the sound waves very well. But more importantly, perhaps, is that what happens is there's a weak spot in it's called the hip of the bridge. There's a weak spot. So if the top of that bridge keeps on getting pulled forward, what happens is it collapses in the middle, and then you get a warped bridge. So then it won't contact the top of the instrument properly. A lot of bad things happen, and then you have to have the bridge replaced, which could cost most of the time at least $100, sometimes several $100. So you don't want that to happen. So what do? About every month or so, depending, you should just check in with your bridge and make sure there's a 90-degree angle between the back of the bridge, not the front, the back of the bridge. The back of the bridge, because the front of the bridge is carved asymmetrically, so it's got a belly on it. It's like this, right? Or like this, right? It's very slight, but it's there. The back of your bridge is flat, so you want to look at the back of your bridge and make sure it's a 90-degree angle with the top of your violin. If it's not, then you simply grab that bridge with your index and your thumb, and then you just move it back. Right? You can see how I can move it around. Hopefully the camera can pick that up. So you can move that around, right? Just be really careful, and you might have to loosen your strings, but hopefully not. It takes a little bit of practice. And if you're not comfortable with it, hey, just take it to your local violin shop and let them do it. They probably won't charge you anything. But you want to make sure it's 90 degrees. Okay, so I would recommend just checking in with your bridge every 30 days or so, and you should be fine. Okay, so number 2 on the list is loosening and maintaining your bow well. So I've noticed a lot of people, especially kids, they have a habit of not loosening their bow when they're done with it. So you turn that screw counterclockwise to loosen it, right? And now the hair touches the wood of the bow in the middle. And then when you tighten it, of course, you tighten it, turn it clockwise, and then you got like maybe a pinky size distance in here, right? So it's important you don't over tighten your bow, because your bow should have a little bit of a dip in it. It should not be going like this. I see this on videos. I'm like, oh no. So you don't want to over tighten your bow, and make sure you loosen your bow when you put it away. What happens if you don't? Well, you could stretch out the hair, which means your bow won't work properly. There's little wedges at the frog and at the tip that hold the hair in. You can pull those wedges out, and now you have to get your bow rehaired, and that could cost another $100 or so, right? And then also, if your bow, let's say you leave your bow tight and then the humidity conditions change, so your bow dries out, and then what happens is it starts to go like that, and then your bow could warp, so it'll start to go crooked this way, right? Or it could actually break your bow. I've sat in orchestra rehearsals and you just hear a pop, and then somebody's bow just broke because they weren't paying attention, because they over tightened it, and then temperature changes, there was humidity changes, and then boom, $5,000 bow down the drain. So just make sure every time you quit playing your violin for the day, even if you're just quitting to practicing for an hour or two or whatever, just loosen that bow, and it's gonna pay in spades, and you're really happy that you did that. Okay, so the third thing on the list would be wiping your violin down, or cello, or viola, or bass, right, wipe your string instrument down after every use. So every time you're done playing, right before you put it in the case, just take a soft cloth, could be microfiber, could be some kind of like just a washcloth, but just a soft cotton cloth is fine, right? And then you just like this. So your goal is to get the rosin off of the strings and off of the fingerboard. And if there's a little bit down here, just run your rag right here, maybe go underneath, and that's it. It literally takes 10 seconds. So I just got done practicing. I go like this, and that's it. So if you don't do that, what happens is the rosin builds up. And then it not only looks bad, but the rosin becomes a problem. Because at some point, well, if you have rosin buildup on your strings, then your sound will be scratchy and nasty. Well, people don't like scratchy, nasty sound, right? So make sure your strings are clean. Also, if you've got rosin on your fingerboard, you know, it could start getting on your fingers and right? Then you can't play as well. You got rosin, you sticky fingers. And then it gets on your finish and it can eat through your finish and ruin your finish on your violin. So if you do have rosin buildup and you want to start fresh, okay, then you can clean your instrument. Just buy some violin cleaner, right? Some varnish cleaner. Don't use like something from your household. It'll probably ruin your finish, right? So you can take it to a violin shop or just buy some violin cleaner and just you go like this, right? You clean all that residue off of your violin, and then you can get some. There's polish. Usually there's two parts, right? There's a cleaner and then there's a polish, right? And then we sell it at Kennedy Violins. You could buy it on our online store as well. But so you clean it, polish it. Now it's good as new. Now as far as the strings, if you've got buildup on your strings and your fingerboard, you can just use like a combination of water and vinegar. So just get some vinegar, kind of dilute it a little bit with water so it's not so stinky, and that'll work. That's a safe thing to use on your fingerboard and your strings, okay? So as long as you stay on top of it and every time you're done practicing you clean your violin will stay looking brand new forever. Okay, so the fourth thing is maintaining your pegs properly so you don't have slipping pegs. Slipping pegs is a big problem. I've created a video about it. It's here somewhere. It's probably my most popular video, at least 500,000 views, I think. And so slipping pegs happen on $60 violins and $60 million violins, okay? It doesn't matter how good your violin is, at some point the pegs are gonna slip, and it sucks, right? So what do most people do? Oh, my peg is slipping when I turn it and then it goes back. So they push the peg in, right? So every time you push that peg in like that, every time you tune your violin, you're basically breaking your violin down. You're making the hole in your scroll bigger, and eventually you're going to have big problems. So the way to remedy that is to install your string properly. Now, if you see that one of your pegs is slipping, you can rewind the string on your peg, okay? Now, for more detail, I suggest you watch that slipping pegs video, but I'm going to show you really quick. Okay, so let's say I've got a string here, okay? Okay, and then I go to tighten it. How it wants to slip. I'll let go. Right? It won't stay. So when that happens, what you need to do is just grab a hold of that string, okay? Keep tension on it. Then you're going to unwind that peg so it's wrapped around your peg. Maybe, it's hard to do for the camera here, but hopefully you get it. So you wind it so it's still wound around the peg a couple times, okay? Then you're going to direct that string towards the peg that you're turning, right? Because we want it to wind against the side of the scroll box. That's going to create a wedge effect that's going to hold the peg from slipping. And then that's going to prevent you from having to push that peg in and damaging your violin. So now with your string over towards the peg, now you're going to push the peg in while you turn it. Right? So that's winding that peg against the sides of that scroll box, okay? The harder you push that peg in while you're turning it, the tighter that peg will get, okay? So you check everything, make sure your string is on your bridge properly, keep on winding that string, push that peg in while you turn it, okay? Keep on tightening it. Okay, so I've got the string up to pitch. Now watch what happens. I'll loosen it. I'll tighten it. See how it stays? I'll loosen it again. Again. I can do this all day, okay? So you'll notice there's a lot of videos online. They're like, oh, you can put chalk on there, you can put rosin on there, you can put, there's some special drops you can put. Sure, you can try that. Or you could just maintain your violin properly and put the string on properly, and you don't need all that stuff. Okay, so if you detect, because a lot of times when you're playing, you'll notice that some of your pegs get really loose. It's probably because the humidity conditions have changed and it's dried out. So just go through all your strings and then unwind them, wind them again, and now your violin is great. But one little tip I want to mention, once you do that, you got all your strings nice and tight, the pegs work beautifully, check back with that bridge, because all that messing around that you're going to do is going to pull that bridge forward and put unequal tension on the top of that bridge. So what you do is what I showed you before, right? Make sure it's straight and then kind of wiggle that top around, kind of wiggle it, relieve the tension across that ridge so now your tension's equal, right? And now tune your violin one last time and your violin's going to stay in tune for a really long time. So guys, I hope this video helped. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my videos. Remember, I do play-alongs and tutorials and technical videos every week, sometimes a couple times a week. So check back in, subscribe, so you don't miss any of the videos. So with that, I hope you guys have a great time practicing. And remember, if you have any questions, put them in the comments because I answer pretty much all the questions I get. So with that, I hope you have a great day.